July 14, 1881. Fort Sumner, New Mexico. The room was dark. No moonlight. Just the smell of dust, sweat, and the weight of something about to happen. Somewhere outside, a dog barked. A door creaked. Boots shuffled. Then, bang. Sheriff Pat Garrett lowered his Colt. "Billy's dead," he said. And with that, the legend ended. Except maybe didn't. Before the shot, before the myth, he was born Henry McCarty in the gutters of New York, though few remembered him by that name. Some said he was quiet as a boy, others said he had that look in his eyes even then, a glint of charm and defiance mixed into one. He lost his mother to tuberculosis in Silver City, his father, a ghost. By 15, he'd been orphaned, abandoned, and hungry. He stole his first loaf of bread, then a horse, and by the time the law came looking, he had already vanished into the wide, wild lands of New Mexico territory. That's where the kid was born. They say he was fast with a gun, but he was faster with people. He made friends quickly, especially among those who felt the world had dealt them a crooked hand. Ranchers, cowboys, men who didn't trust judges. Then came the Lincoln County War, a bloody feud over cattle, land, and money. Billy fought for the Regulators, a ragtag group battling corruption. Some called them outlaws, others called them heroes. Billy killed his first man during that war, and didn't stop, but the war ended. The killing didn't. By 20, Billy was a fugitive wanted in 2 territories, blamed for 19 deaths, though even historians doubt the number. He escaped jail twice, outran every man sent to catch him, and carved his name into legend with a grin and a 6-shooter. One man finally caught up. Pat Garrett, the new sheriff. A former saloon companion, Garrett knew the kid's tricks. He also knew how to make a name for himself. He tracked Billy to Fort Sumner, snuck into the Maxwell house, waited in the dark, and fired. They say the bullet found its mark. They say Billy fell with a curse on his lips. But no one saw it happen. No trial, no confirmation, no photo of the corpse, just Garrett's word. 1949, Hyco, Texas. A dusty street, a heat wave shimmering off the storefronts. Inside a modest law office, an old man adjusted his hat and stepped forward. "My name is Brushy Bill Roberts," he said, "and I am Billy the Kid." He was 90 or near enough, eyes clouded but sharp, wrinkled hands with old scars. He walked with a limp, spoke slow, but when asked about the Lincoln County War, his voice turned young again. He knew things no one should have known. Names, places, the way a man died, secrets never printed. Scars on his body matched historical descriptions. His teeth were crooked, just like Billy's. His drawl unmistakable. The lawyer, William Morrison, didn't laugh. He leaned forward and asked, "Why now?" Brushy Bill said nothing for a while. Then, "Because I want my name cleared. Garrett and I made a deal. I was supposed to get a pardon. Instead, he faked my death and left me with a price on my head for the rest of my life. He wasn't after money, not fame, just a pardon." Brushy claimed that Garrett shot another man that night, either by accident or arrangement, that the body was buried quickly, without identification, that Garrett, under pressure from the governor to resolve the chaos, declared Billy dead. It was easier than admitting he'd let the kid walk away. Some say it was a man named Billy Barlow who died that night. Others say it was a drifter anyone would do. The body was buried in haste. No autopsy, no public display. The cemetery in Fort Sumner marked the grave with a simple headstone, "Billy the Kid." But who really lies beneath it? Brushy Bill agreed to interviews. He answered every question. When historians tested him, he didn't flinch. He spoke about Billy's loves, the betrayals, the nights he hid in caves, the day he realized legends weren't meant to grow old. He cried once when asked about his mother. Still, the state of New Mexico refused his request. Too much time had passed. The legend was too profitable, too tidy. Acknowledging Brushy Bill would mean rewriting a century of Western lore. They denied him. Weeks later, he collapsed in the Texas sun. Died right there on the sidewalk. Hat still on. A half smile on his face, like maybe he'd just pulled one last joke on history. They buried him in Hamilton, Texas. His grave still reads, Brushy Bill Roberts. But visitors leave coins. And sometimes, a note. Ride on, Billy. The doubts never died. In the decades since, calls for DNA testing have grown louder. The Fort Sumner grave could be exhumed, bones examined, but every request has been blocked. Records have disappeared. Evidence lost or sealed. Some believe the grave is empty. Others believe Brushy was a fraud. But even skeptics admit the man knew too much. And the idea that Billy the Kid lived to old age, that he rode quietly through the 20th century, watching movies made about him, listening to stories that weren't quite right, is just crazy enough to be true. In Hico, Texas, there's a small museum with his name. Tourists pass through. Some laugh. Others leave thoughtful. There's a mirror near the exit. A sign reads, "The kid might still be out there. Look closely." Sometimes it feels like he's just behind you, watching, waiting, smiling.